Hey everyone, Tyson the Subaru Specialist from Subaru Prince George here. Bike season's here, finally in the north, and one of the most important parts, or hardest parts, of mountain biking, or road biking, is getting your bike to the trailhead or the bike park. Today, we're going to be installing this. This is the Curt 13544 Activity Mount for the 23 and 2024 SolTerra. So normally, I'm a big fan of using OEM hitches, especially when it comes to Subaru, just because they're designed to take maximum load, force, all that. However, Subaru's Activity Mount for the SolTerra is only rated at 100 pounds tongue weight. By the time you put a bike on there, bike rack, you're pretty close to that maximum. And I like to bike with friends, or at least have the ability to bring someone along with me. So that's not going to work. This Curt one has a tongue weight of 200 pounds. So much better. You can put two bikes in a bike rack on there generally without issue. So I'm going to take you through how to do it. It does come with some absolutely fantastic instructions from Curt. You are going to want to probably print them off of the website in color, because the black and white ones, they're not great. The wording is great, the writing's great, pictures aren't. And today I have some help. My help is already started. Got Dominic, he's an AME, so he keeps airplanes in the air. And we're gonna use him. First step, pulling off the underbody panel trim. Got to remove trim panel pieces and 10mm nuts to remove this piece down here. You can see there's some in the middle there. It's split into two pieces. We might actually put this up on ramps, make it a little easier for us. So the instruction manual is pretty decent. It says level of difficulty moderate. We'll see about that. Never exceed manufacturer's recommended towing capacity. Irrelevant, because this is not designed to tow at all. CurtMFG.com, full color, gives you a parts list, tools required, socket extension for sure. And then on the back, and you see 13, 5, 44, shows you exactly how it's supposed to go together. There is a hole enlargement part. Curt does say that it's no drill, but we'll see about that. We'll see if there's some cutting. And then fish wire technique. So never done fish wire myself, but we'll go through that. Step 1, pull off those bottom panels. Step 2, remove some stickers. We gotta unhook some backup sensors. And then comes the trimming part. But I actually downloaded the Subaru Canada template for the SolTerra because they didn't actually give me a template with this. It just says cut a 4x whatever, and I'm not taking the chance with that. So the instructions don't go over all of the bolts that it says you have to remove. I'll show you. They don't tell you about these, and these are a giant pain in the butt. You have to use a large flathead screwdriver, and you have to apply pressure on this, pulling down to get these to release. So that was an adventure.
They're very tough stickers.
Yeah, they are very tough stickers. They want you to take these stickers here and here off, and I'm going to have to enlarge some holes, but that's what the underside of it looks like. That's going to be the backup sensor alarm that we have to remove here as well. As with any repair, when you don't have the proper tool, probably going to mean a trip to the hardware store. And this was not included accurately in the instructions. So let me show you. This bottom hole right here, which I showed you, is what you have to fish this through. So you have to cut a slot or enlarge it quite large in comparison. And so I bought a step drill bit that isn't quite the right size. So back to Princess Auto we go. Luckily, got a second vehicle. See it behind us there. We'll be right back. Princess Auto special jumbo step drill bits. We'll get back, get drilling. So easy enough to remove. Get out of the way. The bolt they want you to take off is tucked back up in there. So that's going to be a bit of a pain to get at. My fat hands. It feels wrong to be doing this. How's that going, Dom?
Going.
Is it? How big's the hole? Oh, it's much larger. How much more do you need? Oh, it's smoky. Second drilling session. We've changed to coveralls and gloves because hot metal is not fun to get down the back of your shirt. Oh, enlarge that hole. And don't worry, we're not going to leave just a cut hole. We're going to prime it after we've done the fish wires that we have to fit through there. So the reason that we're doing this, we're drilling those, enlarging those holes, is because this needs to fit through, as does the head of the bolt. And if you hold these up to the hole before you do it, you're going to see why you need to be doing this. Now, it does say just cut a slot. I didn't have a grinder that was small enough to do that, so that's why we're enlarging the entire hole. And then we'll find a rubber plug to fill it with after. Both holes. Cut. Now, we're gonna trim this. And this is where the Subaru template comes in. And I'll include that PDF with it in the video description, but you align the holes at the bottom. And then we're gonna end up tracing it and removing this piece of the plastic so that the hitch fits. So I'm just gonna end up tracing it. And hopefully this Sharpie shows up. If not, we'll use a knife and just trim around the edge. Oh yeah, okay, it is actually showing up. And then hopefully it comes off. The rest of it comes off. We'll do the other side, and then we'll be right back to the cutting stuff, the fun stuff. And here we go with a Dremel, cutting plastic. The Sharpie did show up. Going on the inside of the line. And we'll file it off after, keep it nice and clean. And I know it looks like I'm not doing a lot of the work, but I figured I should let the aircraft mechanic who keeps airplanes in the air do the precision stuff. I sell cars for a reason. I'm not a mechanic for a reason. With my precision Sharpie skills, easy to follow along on. So, used a Dremel. Not the cleanest. We have a file and Olfa knife. We're going to clean that up, and I'll show you what that looks like after. Not that you're really going to get to see it when the hitch is in it, but obviously we want that to be a little bit more finished. Look at that. You can see that electric drive motor. So now the fish wire portion. We have 4 of these fish wires, and essentially they want us to run this through the holes that these bolts are going to run through. And obviously without the bolt in it. And then they're going to want you to kink this wire after you run this coiled piece through this to hold that. And then you thread that in there. And then you end up pulling this back through when you have the hitch, and it's supposed to all come together. And essentially this is going to end up inside, and this is what it's going to end up braced against. Sanding. Professional sanding job. Way cleaner than it was before. So we're under here. Run one of the fish wires through the hole. This is on the outside of the frame rail. Access hole number 2. This is the hole that we drilled. And I've kinked the wire, and I have that in there. And I've screwed, I have screwed that bolt into the fish wire. And now I'm going to pull it in there. And you're supposed to do 4 of them. You don't pull them all the way through, because you're going to line the hitch up, or you're going to pull the wire through the hitch, and then it's going to end up tightening up. So we'll see how that goes.
Is red Loctite for help?
Yes, red Loctite. Yes, we're going to Loctite them. So we've got fish wires through. The bolts are attached. I pushed them all through, pulled them taut. Now we got to line the hitch up, run these through the holes, and then when you pull it with a little bit of fandangling, you'll end up pulling the bolt hole through that silver plate that you ran it through, and then you can put a nut on it, tighten it up. So I got the hitch, pulled the bolts through using the fish wire, and so the plate's in there, so you can't twist the bolt after a certain point. And definitely you want a friend and a jack with a block of wood to hold it up, because the hitch does get tucked behind the plastic here. So this definitely makes a difference. Now we're gonna pull the fish wires off the bolts, and we'll throw some nuts on and some Loctite, and we start tightening to 90 pounds-feet of torque. And we're torquing to 90 pounds-feet of torque. It's looking all right. On the other side here, torqued. Now I just have to put that backup alarm back in there, which I think is going to be a little bit more of a challenge because we've got the activity mount in there. And then the hardest part of any job, reassembling all the plastic, all the bolts, make sure I don't end up with any other spare parts, because I'm not an engineer and I don't need weight savings on this. Being the professionals that we are, paint the holes so that they don't rust, because you definitely don't want your bike rack with however many bikes falling off of it. And there it is, finished product. Pretty clean install. I mean, obviously a little dirty right now, but see what it looks like. Easy access to the cotter pin hole on either side for bike racks. So we're gonna go throw the bike rack on and see how it works. Nothing like testing with bikes on the back. Make sure it fits and off we go. So we definitely had to go test out the bike rack after installing, or the hitch with the activity mount, and made it to Pederney, biked, came back, went up to the top of Pederney and back, and it survived. So seems good so far. There's only 2 bikes on it, so we'll see. We're gonna load it to max capacity soon. So the install of the hitch went very easy, all things considered. I was expecting a little bit more of a fight. I understand that my short video doesn't go over all of the nuances of it. The thing that bothered me the most was the instructions from Curt don't cover several of the bolts that you have to remove. They do say you need an socket extension, but it doesn't say exactly what you need. So that's kind of my pet peeve about it. Install, like I said, went very, very well. Much easier than I thought it was going to be. From start to finish, including our trip to the hardware store, Princess Auto, to grab a bigger step tool bit. It took us 2 hours, 15 minutes, 2:15, 2.5, which I thought was much better than I thought. The only thing you have to be aware about when you do that is the automatic emergency braking, the rear assist braking, is going to be upset when you have something in the activity mount. Now, you can turn that off. That's easy. It's just in the main menu, but it is something that's a pain. Even when you turn off the braking portion, the sensors are still going to scream at you when you're in reverse. So if you guys have any questions about the install or anything you saw you're curious about, please put it in the comments below. Love hearing from you guys. Again, Tyson the Subaru Specialist from Subaru Prince George. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll talk soon.